Britain's biggest home computing show is on in London this weekend. Highlights of this year's Future Entertainment Show are the first public appearance of Sega's Mega Drive add-on, the 32X, or Mega 32, the launch of Alien vs Predator for the Jaguar, both of which we've already shown you here on Bad Influence. And there's the first consumer showing of the massive new space shoot-'em-up Inferno, which we're featuring in-depth in next week's programme. So if you want to find out what's hot in home computing, get yourself down to Earl's Court or watch Bad Influence from the comfort of your own home.
Best-selling beat-em-up Mortal Kombat 2 is being developed for computer formats. A PC game will probably be out by Christmas, and a CD-ROM release is planned for early '95. But this is the Amiga version, due in the shops at the end of next month. With all the question marks over the future of the Amiga, this is perhaps a small vote of confidence.
Fancy yourself as a Ghostbuster? Then watch out for Ghost, an interactive game that lets you investigate the paranormal. You explore a haunted house where you find video interviews with famous skeptics like Dr. Sue Blackmore and famous eccentrics like the ghost hunter Robin Thurman. The idea is to piece together some of the best ghost stories ever told and decide for yourself what really happened. Spooky stuff, out soon on Macintosh and CD-ROM, so you can scare yourself witless next Halloween.
Techie subjects. I am the king of the techies. Neep, neep, neep. And you are my subjects. Oh yes, I am the king. Stand up when I'm talking to you. Neep, neep, neep. Here's a cheat, dear subjects, for Prince of Persia on the Game Gear. It lets you start on the very last level. On the password screen, type in P, D, H, J, D, and V. Neep, neep, neep. And there you are, the last level. And now we are all going to sing the King of the Techies song. I am the glorious King of the Techies. I am the gracious King of the Techies. I'm the King of the Techies.
How very like the home life of our own dear Queen. If today's show hasn't sent a shiver down your spine yet, just wait till you see the lineup of ghostly games that have slithered their way into the Bad Influence studio. Here's a selection of the spookiest. First up, the sequel to last year's hit game Zombies, it's Ghoul Patrol on the SNES. You play Zeke, who discovers a book in a glowing chest. Following the instructions in the book, he summons up an evil demon of the past. Your ghost-busting mission is to save the demon's victims that are scattered about each level, while avoiding possessed furniture and flying eyeballs. Drink the red potion to turn into the Grim Reaper and float among the living dead.
And if that's not scary enough, you can join the spirits of the dead in Isle of the Dead on the PC CD-ROM. You play Jake Dunbar, and your plane has crashed on a remote island. That's the good news. The bad news is that it's full of the living dead, and you only have a limited amount of ammunition. Isle of the Dead is an adventure game with 2 levels to it. The first is a basic kill the zombies before they kill you. The other is a mystery, as Jake tries to find out why the zombies are there in the first place and how he can get back to civilization.
Now, how may I be of service to you?
If you prefer the more familiar spooks, spectres and monsters, then there's Frankenstein, also on the PC. You have to guide Igor, Dr. Frankenstein's assistant, through a castle, a graveyard and a village, looking for scattered pieces of the monster. And where there's Frankenstein's monster, you're bound to find ghosts, giant spiders and mutant slime monsters. Oh, and watch out for the Vicar and the Undertaker.
A lot of the more spectacular ghostly games are out on PC rather than console, presumably because they're being aimed at an older audience. Harvester, for example, is a psychological thriller. You wake up one morning in Harvest, a town where you've lived all your life. The trouble is, you don't remember anything, and the town is full of strangers and some very weird sights.
Come in.
And Ecstatica is a sort of gothic explore-em-up. You play a weary traveller lost in a mysterious village full of bizarre monsters. Some of the scenes in it are definitely not for the squeamish.
And finally, a sneaky look at an early version of the 3rd and final episode from the Alone in the Dark trilogy, which is due out in February. Once again, the graphics offer impressive cinematic views. You play Edward Carnby, a private investigator who, on the night of July the 3rd, is called to Slaughter Gulch, a deserted ghost town, to rescue a woman called Emily Hartwood, who has mysteriously vanished.
Enough, I'm too scared to continue. Here's some non-scary games with some pretty scary reviews. Question: who's eligible for a bus pass but still bounces around with the best of them? No, not Keith Chegwin, Mickey Mouse, 66 years old and starring in a brand new platform game called Mickey Mania, a gay old romp through the film career of the famous Disney rodent. Here's Chris.
This is classic Disney. It looks gorgeous, but it does take itself very seriously. You start off with Steamboat Willie, Mickey's first film from 1928. The game is beautifully animated. The graphics are really nice to look at. The game's aimed at younger players, and the difficulty curve is just about right. In fact, on the first level, you can't actually die. I'm trying to hurl myself into the water here, and these fish are poking me out. Disney connoisseurs among you will recognise that this level is based on Mickey's 1933 film called The Mad Doctor. It's a different style of gameplay, and it's actually quite difficult. It took me a few goes to get through. It's a great looking game, but experienced game players will finish it within a few hours, so it's not really worth £60.
It's not very original, but it's a pleasure to play because it looks so lovely.
It's a nice idea, but it reminds me too much of the other Mickey Mouse games, and they're a couple of years old now.
Scores then, Mickey Mania gets a golden oldie, 4 out of 5 from the girls and the boys.
Next, Race Days for the Game Boy. It's 2 games in 1. There's an overhead game in the style of Micro Machines and a racing sim, which puts you in the driving seat of a 4-wheel drive off-road vehicle. Ready to eat dirt? Here's Katie.
I found the overhead game very difficult to play. The tracks are so narrow that all the cars get bottlenecked, and it's very hard to control. The 4-wheel drive game is easier to control and much more fun than the other game is. The graphics are nice and chunky for the Game Boy, but after a while you still lose interest. I like the idea of putting 2 games onto 1 cartridge, but it only works if they're both interesting.
The overhead bit is total scrap, to be honest. If it got rid of that and used the extra memory space to concentrate on the 3D driving part, it would have been much better.
I didn't particularly like either of them. It's very put-downable.
Both the boys and the girls agree. Race Days gets a Lada convertible, 3 out of 5.
I am not the king of the techies. I am Nep Techie, underwater god of the Furtlers. And I'm creating my own underwater home right here in the basement so I can be worshipped from above. Oh yes, and this is my high priest, Fang. Oh, what's that you say, Fang? Oh, yes, very good idea. Fang has asked me to provide a miracle for my followers, and I shall do so. Neep, neep, neep. This is a small miracle for Body Blows version 2 on the Amiga. On the options screen, hold down your joystick for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you'll get a secret cheat options screen that lets you do all sorts of things like turn your energy on and off. Oh no, Fang, save yourself, Fang. Oh, Andy, Violet, I'm not mad anymore, honest. Can you turn the water off, please? Oh.
Quick, don't call an emergency plumber. Last week's competition prize was a SNES, a copy of NBA Live 95 and a real basketball set. We asked you what is the regulation height for a basketball hoop. The answer is 10 feet. We had over 13,000 entries, but the lucky winner is Peter Morris from Kent. Well done. 10 runners-up get Bad Influence Better Than Sleep t-shirts.
This week's prize is a Mega Drive with Dynamite Headdy. And the question is, who invented Dynamite? If you know, give us a call with your answer on 0891 555 999, 0891 555 999. Calls will cost no more than 25p. Lines will close at midnight on Monday. As always, make sure you get permission from whoever pays the phone bill before you dial, because as we always say here, you can't win if you don't ask permission, and we do check. That's just about it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the programme. Join us next week when we'll be looking at the space strategy game Inferno. See you then. Bye-bye.
Oh, and don't forget to watch Noel's house party on Saturday, because Andy's getting a gotcha Oscar.
All right. See you then.
See ya.
Bye-bye.